So hey guys, this is William. I haven't been live in a while. We're going to actually start going live on a daily basis, once to twice a day. At night, USA Eastern Standard Time, 8 to 9 o'clock will be our virtual assistant course, which is going to cover everything from how to find a VA, where to find them, how to train them, what are virtual assistants. Going to answer all the basic questions and even get down to the nitty gritty things to avoid. Where do I find them? How do I hire them? How do I train them? What's the difference between virtual assistants and outsourcing, that sort of thing, because there are totally two different things. Okay, so we're going to be covering a lot of material and we're going to go through it. We're going to start today. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and if you miss it, you can always catch it in the Rank Fortress Academy. This is going to be in the back end of Rank Fortress Academy. If you are not a part of Rank Fortress Academy, go to rankfortress.com and click the button on the very top, and you can join Rank Fortress Academy for free. We have classes, everything from go high level to off-page SEO, on-page SEO, how to do team building, etc. And I even bring in my team and let them teach, and then I teach for free as well. Everything from local SEO to virtual assistants and lead generation and so much more. You don't want to miss it. So without further ado, we're going to get started here. Give me 1 second. Let me get set up. And some of this, I mean, if you are a virtual assistant, it's already going to be like, well, I already know a lot of this or whatever. But for those of you, I literally had a guy the other day asked me, what's a virtual assistant? Isn't that some kind of robot or something? And I was like, no, it's not a robot, brother. So in module 1, it's going to be very simple. We cover introduction to virtual assistants and outsourcing. We're going to kind of explain the difference between both of them. So I want you to understand what the virtual assistant industry is. There is something over here in the Philippines called a BPO industry, or a BPO is specifically for back office tasks such as email and customer service and that sort of thing. In the United States, when you're dealing with Comcast or any of these big companies where you're calling for customer service, generally speaking, you are actually talking to someone from the Philippines. Sometimes they'll hire from India, Bangladesh, etc. We're going to go over why would they do that instead of hiring in the United States. So this is one of my staff here. I actually don't have virtual assistants. All of our staff are actually in-house. We have over 70 in-house staff. We can house over 100. They range, all of them are Filipino. They all live in Surigao City, and all are from the Surigao del Norte area here in the Philippines. So module 1, this is what we're going to cover. What's a virtual assistant? Why would you hire from the Philippines versus India, Bangladesh, anywhere else, okay? Versus even the United States, because there are people that are virtual assistants or remote workers in the USA. What's the cost savings and business growth potential? Because that's one of the biggest reasons why people will hire a remote worker or a virtual assistant, is for the cost of savings and to help them grow and scale their business. And the fourth part of this is going to be, we're going to cover commonness about hiring offshore virtual assistants, because there are a lot of them. Okay, and then part 5 of module 1, we're going to cover understanding culture differences. If you don't understand culture differences and you hire from anywhere else outside of the United States, you're going to have a problem. So I tell people all the time, if you're going to hire, for example, from the Philippines, you kind of need to understand the culture. You also need to understand about their holidays. They're going to say yes, sir, no, ma'am, and all that type of thing a lot. I'm from the South, so I'm used to yes, sir, no, ma'am, and all that sort of thing. If you're from the North, you might not be as much, okay? This is just a fact. It's part of, even the USA has its own kind of culture. So lesson 1, what is a virtual assistant? So a virtual assistant, especially when it comes to being in the digital landscape or as a digital agency, an SEO agency, a Google Ads agency, a go high level agency, right? You need to be able to almost wear every single hat regarding responsibilities. This is whether you're a business owner or an entrepreneur. A virtual assistant or a remote worker basically supplies you with essential support, whether that's customer service or on-page SEO, off-page SEO, setting up go high level, onboarding clients, doing lead generation. This is what a virtual assistant is. I literally had a guy ask me the other day, he goes, "Hey, I don't even know what a virtual assistant is. I'd like to hire one from you, but I don't know what they are." And I was like, "Really? You don't know what a virtual assistant is?" He's like, "Aren't they one of those like robot workers?" And I was like, "No, they're actually a human being. Even though there is AI virtual assistants, even with AI, you still need an operator to control the AI, okay, and set it up and train it and everything else. But an actual remote worker is indeed a live human being. We have about 70 plus, almost 80 actual staff in our office. We have to pay government taxes and we have to pay for health care and social security, all that stuff. So why would a virtual assistant be on demand? And we're going to talk about even my kind of background when I became a virtual assistant. Number one is it's cost effective. Most people will hire from the Philippines or India or any of these other countries because they are a developing nation. I'm not going to use the term third world, if you will, country. I believe it is a developing nation, which means it's not the same development rate, if you will, as someplace like the UK or the United States. As such, the cost of living is lower, and therefore the cost of hiring people is much lower. It will also, when you hire a virtual assistant, it enables you to increase productivity and become more efficient, and i.e. scale. We're going to talk about what is scaling. What's the difference between I'm just growing my business and getting a couple of clients here and there and actually scaling your business. Because a lot of people throw around the term, I'll help you scale your business, and they don't even know what scaling is, okay? It also provides flexibility for business owners and entrepreneurs, meaning they don't have to do everything themselves, right? As long as you don't have to do everything yourself, then you're able to free up your time. You don't have to be answering emails. You don't have to be doing, if you will, the client onboarding. You don't have to do the lead generation. You don't have to set up Google ads, Facebook ads. The list goes on and on. It enables you to access a global pool of talent. Whereas if you have a physical location and you're only hiring from, let's say where I'm from, Jacksonville, Florida, then essentially, if you don't have the talent there in your city, you're kind of limited. Okay. Whereas if you take the entire globe or the entire world, you have a lot of really fucking smart people across the entire galaxy, if you will. Not really galaxy, but you know what I mean. So you can get a lot of people. Not only will you get them, they're smarter. They also a lot of times have more, if you will, more experience. They're specialized, and a lot of times, like in the Philippines, a lot of them have went to school for IT and they've graduated with a 4-year degree. Versus whereas if you hire someone in the States, they may not even have a degree. Okay, so that's one of the benefits. Now, going to keep going. What is a virtual assistant? Once again, a virtual assistant is a remote professional who provides administrative, technical, creative, or specialized services for a business. Doesn't have to be a digital agency. No, there are lots of times where we'll have someone, hey, I just want you to set up appointments, and this is for junk removal. Or, hey, I need you to answer my email. This is for junk removal because I'm out in the field and I ain't got time to go through 200-300 emails every single day. So the virtual assistant will come in and actually go through the emails, filter out the emails, respond to the emails, set aside certain emails for the boss, if you will. All right. And a virtual assistant, this is the other really big benefit, is they remotely work for you, right? They don't have to be in the physical office, which saves you a ton of money, which means you don't have to employ them. You don't have to pay FICA. You don't have to pay a bunch of taxes in the United States. You ain't got to do the health insurance. You ain't got to train them. You don't got to manage them. The biggest problem in business whenever I first got started, because we started, hey, we just want to earn some money. It wasn't like we knew about business and management. And then along the way, we learn how to manage and develop teams, and then the culture in the workplace, etc. Because it's highly different than I'm just a boss owner, and then I'm a leader, and then I'm also someone that mentors my staff. Just yesterday, for example, I had 2 meetings after 5 o'clock, both of which we were mentoring and counseling our staff. Okay, so it allows them as well to work as freelancers when you're a virtual assistant. They're independent contractors, or sometimes, like with us, they're actual employees. People come to me and they hire a virtual assistant for them, but they're an actual employee of Rank Fortress, meaning I manage them, I train them. And if there's ever an issue, I have full control over them and I can deal with it and help the business owner directly so they don't have to go, why did this VA ghost me, or were they sick, or what's the holidays coming? There's lots of stuff that can happen. They also provide services on an hourly basis. Sometimes they'll want to be hired on hourly basis. More than not, they want project based or retainer base. What's the difference? An hourly base, of course, is by hour. Like with us, you buy 160 hours or 20 hours or 40 hours or 80 hours, etc. Whereas most virtual assistants, remote workers are going to want to say, okay, you want a website done, it's going to cost, $500, $600 or whatever until that project's done. You're going to pay them a little bit up front, usually, or all of it up front. I do not suggest, and I tell virtual assistants this all the time, do not let someone pay you after the work's been done, because they get screwed over a lot of times by people trying to hire them and then scam them. Okay. Always pay your virtual assistants on time, either half up front and then the half on delivery. Okay. Guys, you don't want to treat people, you want to treat them ethically. Okay. Provide services on the hourly basis or retainer basis. With the rapid growth of online businesses, the demand, especially after COVID, has been higher. Before COVID, think about it this way, everybody kind of just, there was virtual assistants and remote workers, but no one was kind of forced into it. When the pandemic hit, everybody was forced into, you have to work from home, because no one was allowed to go outside, especially over here in the Philippines and a lot of other places. They weren't allowed to go into work, hospitals, etc. So what do? They got thrown into using Zoom meetings and Google Meet. And so it forced a lot of businesses into it. I actually started Rank Fortress just prior, 3 months prior to COVID. Thank God we did. Thank God I listened to my wife and my friend John Signey, and we started there. I actually started as a virtual assistant. If you want to listen to my story, there's another video. And if you want that one, I can send you the link as well. Just comment, hey, I want to hear your story, and I'll send it over to you. But essentially, I got started as a virtual assistant. Here in the Philippines, I was working for a USA-based company from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Philippine time. And that meant I had to take cat naps during the day, and we were also running the laundry shop during the day. So I actually have experience as a virtual assistant, and now I run a virtual assistant agency and an SEO agency. What's the significance of the model of being a remote worker or a virtual assistant, right? It's remote work. You don't have to have a physical office. VAs work from anywhere as long as they have an internet connection, unless you hire them with someone like me. If you hire them with someone like me, it's going to be, for instance, we have a physical office, we have a commercial generator, we have backup internet, and we actually, pay the government, the taxes, and the Phil Health, and all the health insurance, all that stuff, right? That's a little bit different. When you hire a virtual assistant on your own, and you go and find them on, let's say, Upwork or Legit or any of these other places, right? Philippine VAs, etc. They're gonna actually have to have their own setup, their own computer, their own reliable internet and backup. All right. You want to make sure that they have all those things before hiring you. We will dive deeper into that on a later date. It is a service-based employment. You're going to hire based on contracts, per hour rates, or a fixed project hour. i.e. you want a contract. I don't care if you're the virtual assistant or you're the one hiring the virtual assistant, you need to have a contract. Okay. It also allows for flexible work schedules. What do I mean by that? So, depending on you as the owner of your business or the agency, do you want them to work during your time or their time? It's up to you. And you have to be upfront with your virtual assistant or potential remote worker upon hiring them. It's also technology driven tasks such as project management software and communication platforms. You're going to use things like Slack or Google to talk to them live. You're also going to use Zoom and Google Meet to have video calls, etc. Okay. It's it's not going to be one on one. It's not going to be, if you will, face to face. Okay. This is going to be remote. It's not going to, it's totally different. And this is one of the reasons why I say you really need to spend time with your virtual assistant, getting to know them, because they don't have that, if you will, day-to-day experience with meeting the boss or meeting the team, right? Because they're not physically there. They don't know, for example, does the boss like black coffee or does he like it with cream, or does the boss like this type of music or that type of music? Does the boss won't care if if I put in 8 hours or whatever, or does he really care more about the outcome? And so as you get to know your virtual assistants over time, you're spending time with them, they get to know what your expectations are. It's a basic relationship. Sometimes it takes anywhere from a few months. Sometimes you hit it right off, but I've rarely seen someone hit it right off. Generally, it takes a good 3 to 4 months before you really get in the groove with it. Unless most of our VAs, for example, most of my actual staff and employees that work here in the office actually have been with us and worked with us for several years. All right. There are several types of virtual assistants. What are the types of virtual assistants? I get it all the time that people ask me, like, let me show you some of the things as well that our virtual assistants can do. All right. I'm going to show you that. I have a spreadsheet for it, but number one, there's general virtual assistants. A general virtual assistant is exactly that. They are like the jack of all trades. They handle administrative tasks and clerical tasks, email management, scheduling, just kind of like basic stuff, right? Then you got social media virtual assistant. All they're going to do is manage your social media, grow your social media. They will create content. They will schedule posts. They will also help you engage with your followers. That way you'll enhance your brand presence and you will grow your following. A lot of times people will hire these companies and they're just posting generic but social media content, and then they wonder why their following's not growing. Well, it's because you're using generic content, stock images, stock video, and you want legitimate photos of you and your business as well as video. And then they're going to go in there and engage with your audience, reply to comments and things of that nature, which you as a business owner do not have time to do. And then when they're doing that, what's going to create is going to create, if you will, traction, and other people are going to see your page, and then they're going to start following you more and more with the authentic content that you're putting out. A lot of times people ask me, for example, how do I stand out in this AI world? It's very easy because everybody's using freaking AI on social media, and you can usually see it a mile away for their social media posts. Just start being authentic. E-commerce virtual assistants. What's that? So an e-commerce virtual assistant basically helps you with, let's say you're running a store online and you have a new 100 products you need added. They're the ones that are going to list it. They're also going to help you with order fulfillment, customer service, customer support, inventory management, and all that jazz, all the stuff that you don't have to physically have the product with and actually hand it. And they're not going to be shipping it and stuff like that, but they're going to actually deal with back end of it. Okay. Then also, for example, we have SEO and content virtual assistants. An SEO virtual assistant, basically, depending on if you're a national company or a local SEO client or an e-commerce SEO client, they're going to concentrate on the search engine optimization for that business. Content, once again, is writing, let's say, blogs or press releases, content that will go across social media or in newsletters. You also have bookkeeping and finance virtual assistants. They manage invoicing, QuickBooks, Peachtree, expense tracking, payroll processing. They do not generally have access to sensitive, if you will, bank accounts, but they will have the data entry aspect of it. Then, for example, there's also tech and IT support VAs. That will be handling things like, hey, my website got hacked. I need to update plugins on WordPress. I need to update my hosting. There's, check the emails, update the email accounts, add email accounts, manage that, manage servers. There's a ton that a tech and IT support VA will do. They generally will be at a much higher rate only because they're at a much higher skill set. Now, let me show you the spreadsheet. If you want this spreadsheet and you're a business owner, etc., just comment below, say, hey, I want the spreadsheet of the tasks that you offer, and I'll give that to you. Let me show you that real quick. For example, let's go here and I will show that to you so you can kind of see it and you get the drift. So this is, for example, the different services that we offer. We offer anything from lead generation virtual assistants, which do everything from researching and prospecting to outreach and engagement, managing someone's CRM and database, reporting and analysis of it, collabs and coordination, and content and resource creation. Then we have Go High Level virtual assistants, some of which are virtual assistant, and the Go High Level is going to be an admin. They're certified as well through Go High Level or High Level. They do everything from the basic account setup to onboarding clients, campaign management, client communication, social media ads management, reporting, analytics, website and funnel optimization. List goes on and on with that. We also do Facebook ads, set up the campaigns, ad optimization, reporting analytics, audience targeting, A/B split testing. The list just goes on and on. Same thing, Google Ads. We do the same thing there. We also have social media virtual assistants. Like I said, we cover a lot here. Social media virtual assistants, they will create the content for you. They will also create, like I said, audience engagement. That's a big factor in growing your audience. Social media strategy, they set that up for you. How am I going to, what type of social media, what type of hashtags, how often should I be posting, what should I be posting? Analytics and reporting, because you don't want to just do stuff without actually dialing in and saying what's actually working, okay? Social media platforms are generally going to use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. They're going to do something called social media listening to your brand out there and seeing if anyone's talking about your brand. Crisis management, what's that? Well, it's PR. Is anyone talking negative about you? That sort of thing. Collaboration, coordination, ongoing learning and improvement. Of course, all your VAs, you always want them to constantly be learning and improving. And we'll talk about that more with whose responsibility is it to train your VAs, especially if you're hiring a remote worker on one of these websites and not through us. When you hire them through us, I'm the one that actually trains them. I do training every single day, a lot of times, and then sometimes it's once a week. It just depends on what the needs are of our clients, okay? Graphic design virtual assistant, all they do is graphic design. Graphic design would be social media graphics, ad design, infographics, t-shirts, banners, logos, newsletters, signage, Canva editing, and the list goes on. Another one's video editing, like for reels that go on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. All right, they do everything from the B-rolls, the cutting of the footage, the lighting, etc., and editing. Content creation. The content creation can be content that's written for websites, landing pages for ads, blog posts, social media posts, articles, case studies, press releases. It just goes on and on. There's a lot that they can do. As you can already see, there's a lot a virtual assistant or a remote worker can take off your plate. Email marketing virtual assistant. What do they do? Well, there's cold email, warm email, and hot email campaigns. Are you trying to reach new clients? Are you trying to educate them? Are you trying to send out offers? That sort of thing to create leads. Are you trying to build an audience? Are you trying to do your list management? That sort of thing. We also do branding. Branding virtual assistants means they create the actual brand. You come with an idea. Hey, I'm starting a business. Here's the colors I want, the fonts I want. And we start creating all of the assets around that, whether that's the logo, the website look and feel, whether that's on your social media or whether it's on your newsletter or whether it's on in-house internal documents even. A data entry virtual assistant is pretty much all they're doing is data entry. Whether that's inputting data for, basic lists or validating the data, it's pretty much simple. Compiling reports, it's more of just taking data and entering it into a system or transcribing something. What do I mean by transcribing? Taking a video and taking it and actually putting it into text, okay? Web design virtual assistant, they build websites, website design and development. They do the maintenance and content management system and collabs. You can have a website, and if you're not updating the plugins and you're not maintaining it, you will have issues a lot of time. We also have e-commerce virtual assistants. Once again, they maintain e-commerce virtual assistants, maintain order processing, shipping management, returns, refund, customer invoicing, a lot of the back end of the e-commerce business. We also do, if you will, GMB optimization and management, Google Business Profile Optimization and Management, which means actually optimizing it for SEO, adding products, services, and then creating engagement and traffic on your local Google listing. We also do local SEO, which is my forte. It's what I've been doing for a very long time, which is everything from essentially covers, hey, I'm not in the top 3 of Google, and we help get you there. Whether that's through on-page SEO, off-page SEO, etc., press releases, citations, putting you on podcasts and YouTube videos and all that. We do all that. We also do on-page SEO, which is once again my forte, which means optimizing once again for Google and the search engines on page on your website. Off-page SEO is everything we do off-page, i.e. creating backlinks, whether they be building citations, Web 2.0's, directories, forums, and the list goes on. The only thing not included when we do off-page SEO is the press releases are an additional. In our case, when you hire, the prices are wrong here, but in our case, I actually sell it to you at cost. It's actually $5 per press release, guest post, and etc. So cloud stacks are actually included. G stacks are included. Niche edits are $5. The rest of it is included here. So this is included. This is included. This is included. This is included. The only thing here is like right here. These are $5. That is the only cost extra you would wind up paying if you wanted these. And the reason why is, number one, it actually costs me money for these things. But the good news is I also do not ever, 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 ever use guest posts or niche edits inside of my local SEO unless it's in a highly competitive niche in an area like New York or Vegas. And even then, I will generally not use them unless I absolutely must. All right. I've just found I can rank stuff without it. Now, what is an executive virtual assistant? An executive virtual assistant can do everything I listed out. Everything from lead generation, go high level, Facebook ads, Google ads, social media, everything. They know all of it. And I have cross-trained most of our staff. So most of our staff, for instance, will know anything from go high level to local SEO to Google ads, Facebook ads, social media management, etc. So that's part of what I have done in our specific VA agency. Now, when you're hiring a virtual assistant outside and you're looking for someone yourself, whether that's on Upwork, et cetera, or any of those other similar websites, for example, what's some websites, you may say, William, what's some websites like Upwork, similar, Upwork, or similar websites. These are generally the type of websites you guys are going to. It's going to be like Freelancer, People Per Hour, Guru.com, Fiverr, Topital, 99 Designs, Hubstaff, Upwork, Flex Jobs, Filipino outsourcing, etc. The problem with that is then you're going to have to train them a lot of times. And you don't know what you're getting into. Sometimes they're going to pull the resume. I have 5 years experience, and then you find out they got 3 months of experience. Okay. And you don't want to be in one of those situations. So let's go ahead and go back to our presentation. But that's a little bit of that right there is a little bit of what we actually offer when you come directly to Rank Fortress VA agency. Now, key responsibilities of a virtual assistant, like I said, can be everything from administrative support, emails, helping you as a business owner with scheduling, your calendar, etc. Everything from that, from marketing experience, financial, which is bookkeeping, marketing, let's say social media management, SEO, content creation, reels, video editing for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Back end, more customer service, handling inquiries, live chat support, and then technical assistance, which is website updates, software, and troubleshooting, which is more of a higher skill level. And technical assistance, of course, would cost you more with that sort of VA. The benefits of hiring a virtual assistant is you're going to have increased productivity. You can then begin delegating tasks that allow yourself as a business owner to stop doing and having to wear all these hats. So that means you can focus on, if you've ever heard of the 80-20 rule, you can focus on the 20% of things that actually create sales and are making the needle, or the business grow more. You can focus on those things, and the 80% out you delegate. Okay. And it gives you flexibility once again, which I've told you is, you can pay them per hour or part-time or per project. You don't have to say, okay, well, I'm hiring you full-time and you're going to be in here for 160 hours and you're going to make, in the States, anywhere from 12 to, 40 something dollars an hour, depending on where you're at and what state you're at. Okay. Cost savings eliminates the need for in-house employees, you having to pay for health insurance, you having to pay for FICA and all that other stuff that you have to pay for in taxes in the United States. And this applies to most Western countries, UK, Australia as well. It also gives you access, once again, to global talent. You're not stuck in your geolocation and having to find people that are in your specific area, because that limits you. You don't ever want to be limited in business. It also gives you scalability. Scalability meaning, if I was to come to you today as a business owner and say, hey, here's 20 new clients, most people can't handle it. Here's 10 new clients, most people can't handle it. Or, hey, I need to come in and I need to hire 20 people. Well, you generally are not going to be able to do that in the United States. It's going to take a lot of work. You're going to train some of them. You're going to manage them and all this other stuff. It's a lot of workload on you or your management. With outsourcing to a place like the Philippines or someone like us, you come to us and say, hey, I need 5 virtual assistants. No problem. It's done like that. Mainly because we already have them. They're already trained. If you come to me saying I need 100, I'm going to tell you, I just need a little bit of time and then I can get them. But generally speaking, you can do a lot more. You can scale faster. Scaling, once again, means, do you have the ability to take on this amount of clients right now? If you do not, you are not ready to scale, and nor can you scale because your business is not set up to be efficient and you cannot meet project demands. Okay. So that's another benefit of an SEO. In summary, once again, the key takeaways here, what we talked about today is, what is a virtual assistant? We talked about what services they can provide, what services we at Rank Fortress offer. The VA industry's very rapidly, ever since the pandemic, growing. And why did it happen? It's because the pandemic forced us into doing remote work. It also made it more cost effective, especially when you start outsourcing to a place like the Philippines or someone like Rank Fortress. The VAs or virtual assistants are remote workers, remote work. is always done via digital sources like Google Meet or, if you will, Slack, where you're communicating, or via a Zoom call or a Google Meet call. And we went over, the payment options. Like I said, always pay your virtual assistants on time, every time, as well. We went over the various types of virtual assistants that we offer here at Rank Fortress, as well as you can get on yourself by yourself. There's various places we showed you. Businesses benefit from them because it's cheaper, scalability, and a global talent pool. And like I said, most of the people you're going to hire from the Philippines a lot of times will have a 4-year degree, sometimes in an IT school. They've learned JavaScript, etc. If you would like my ebook, it's about 300 pages on how to find, outsource, or train virtual assistants. Comment below and I will also get that over to you. And I have that for you as well. It is a full-fledged ebook just for you. So make sure to comment below and I'll get that over to you. So if you have any questions regarding virtual assistants whatsoever, or you want to get on a call or anything, just comment below and I will send you over the link so we can get on a call and I'll answer any questions you have. You don't have to pay for my time. You don't have to pay for the call. I will gladly help you as best as I can. I actually live in the Philippines. My entire staff is here. My office is actually attached to my house and we have around 70 plus virtual assistants. We work here in the Philippines from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we do everything, like I said, from basic data entry to more advanced local SEO, e-commerce SEO, go high level, and lead generation. So we'd love to help you guys. And until next time, you guys have a great day and be blessed. Glad I could help as many of you as possible. And we'll be back here tomorrow morning. And we'll be talking about white label SEO. What is a white label SEO? That sort of thing. So once again, we're just here to help you guys. If you guys have any questions, just let us know.